We'll give people just a couple minutes to continue to join. Haley and Michael, if it's okay with you, I'll start my intro now, and then as folks join, they can go from there. Hello and welcome. My name is Ashley Overman. I'm the college liaison here at the Dayton Early College Academy in Dayton, Ohio, and I am thrilled to be here with you all this evening as we hear more about Xavier University. Just a couple of reminders as we get started. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen for everyone. Are you guys able to see my screen here? My screen got very small. So over here on the right, you should see the Q&A. How do you ask questions? At any time, you guys are able to type your questions right there in the Q&A. Your camera and microphone are both off. And we encourage you definitely to sign up for more sessions. You may do that by scheduling or checking out the schedule at OACAC.org, and the recording of all sessions will be available for everyone. So we encourage you again to check that out. And now I'd like to turn it over to our presenters, Haley and Michael, who will introduce themselves.
Please, you first, Haley.
All right, thank you. Well, good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. We are so thrilled to be talking to you tonight about the Xavier family and really just what it takes to be a musketeer here on our campus in Cincinnati. My name is Haley Wolf. I'm an admissions counselor here at Xavier. I've been on staff for about a year now, and I work mostly with the students from the Dayton area as well as Northwest Ohio. So if you live in Lima, if you're tuning in from Findlay, kind of up in that neck of the woods, then I will be working with you throughout the next year. Mike?
Thank you. My name is Mike Garcia. I'm Assistant Director of Admissions here at Xavier University. I work with students in the Cincinnati area and Northern Kentucky area. But I'm going to share my screen right now and we can get started with the presentation.
All right, awesome. So once again, thank you so much for tuning in tonight. So the first thing that we're really going to talk about is a key phrase that we have here on Xavier's campus. It's kind of our central mantra, our motto here, and that is the phrase all for one, right? So the phrase all for one, before we kind of dive into the student profile, is really kind of going to give you a sense of you know, who we are, what makes us our community, as you can see kind of here, which we'll dive into in just a moment. So that phrase all for one, there's really kind of three different reasons why we have that. The first reason is going to be a little bit more on a superficial perspective, and that's because, you know, we are Xavier Musketeers. So our phrase all for one is kind of a clever allusion back to that story, the Three Musketeers, and the rallying cry, of course, of those three figures was all for one and one for all. So we do have a very strong sense of school spirit here. As you probably know, if you're from the state of Ohio, you've probably seen our basketball team play on TV before and heard about just, you know, again, how big that is on our campus. So again, that's kind of only one aspect of why we have that phrase. The second reason why we really love that phrase all for one on our campus, why it's on all of our materials, you might be getting emails from us, maybe you've taken a tour of campus, is because of the fact that we are a Jesuit Catholic university. So some of you might be familiar with that in the past. Maybe you go to a Jesuit high school. Maybe you've been looking at some other Jesuit Catholic universities. There are about 28 across the country, and there's actually a new one in Puerto Rico as well. So very exciting, but there are two main kind of things that the Jesuit Catholic aspects really does to inform our community here. So two aspects or charisms that come out of that tradition. One of them is that aspect of the pursuit of academic excellence. And you can really see that coming to influence our campus community through our classrooms. We have a very rigorous liberal arts core curriculum, and then we also have certainly over 90 majors, which we'll talk about in just a second. But the other aspect is that real commitment to community service, which definitely comes out in a number of different ways. We have a student body that is incredibly mission driven. I'm actually not a Xavier alum. I did not graduate from here. And so I think this is a relatively unbiased opinion. But I have never met a community of more mission driven students in my experience. Our mission here at Xavier is to create men and women for and with others. And these students really authentically live that out, whether that is through their 80,000 hours of community service that they do each year, or just kind of on a regular basis in their kind of everyday life. I think one of the things that COVID actually gave our community, and I know Mike could probably speak to this too, is an ability to really see this in action. One of the most special things for me as a staff member this last year was to see our students get together on a Facebook page, some of our students from the local area, and really kind of reach out to those students from California, from New York, from Boston, who weren't able to really travel back to campus as readily and move their things out. They got together and they said, hey, you know, if you have stuff on campus that we can mail to you, please let us know and we'll do that for you. Or I will store your things in my garage if I have to, just so that, you know, you can be taken care of. And so again, I think that really goes to show that all for one mentality. Now, finally, that all for one aspect really comes out in kind of what you're starting to see on here, which is our student profile. It comes out of the community that we have here and that our students really experience. So we have an undergraduate size of about 5,000 students. So we're on the smaller size of medium. And really what that allows our students to do is to feel incredibly connected on campus. We had an old coworker, Rachel Richter, who was a student here. And I think her story is very much the norm, in that when you're getting from point A to point B in our campus, you should probably allot about 30 minutes to get from point A to point B. And that's not because our campus is very big. It's actually very manageable. It only takes really 10 minutes to get from one absolute side to the other. But it's really a result of the fact that you will be stopped multiple times by people who want to just engage you in that conversation and get to know you and see how you're doing. So that's something that you really get with that 5,000 undergraduate size. Yet at the same time, the grapevine never feels too small. You're always able to meet new people over the course of your 4 years, especially as upperclassmen will graduate and you have underclassmen coming in each year as well. Now I've kept you in kind of anticipation of this slide right now, but I promise it's kind of building up there. So certainly one of the ways to really get to know us as a community is to see what types of students we attract. And that's really what this slide dives into. So one of my favorite aspects of who we are at Xavier is we are a community of trailblazers. Now, what do I mean by that? Most of our students are actually coming from outside of the state of Ohio. And this is really special for this audience specifically because you all are Ohio residents. You're the experts on the Buckeye State, and maybe some of you are even from Cincinnati and you've been here before and can show people around. But your roommate might be from California, or Boston, or Miami, or Texas, or Chicago. And so it really provides this awesome opportunity for you to stay close by, maybe for school, but to still reap the rewards of getting to know people from all over the country. For almost 40% of our students, 39% from this year's freshman class, are the only ones to come from their high school too. So I think what that really speaks to is the fact that, you know, students really want to get out of their comfort zone. They might not know anybody when they're first pulling up to campus, but they really are bold enough and empowered enough to kind of come in here and know that they're going to create those relationships. And they've already been able to see that because I think it speaks to the fact that they've felt that embrace of our community already. They've been on campus for tours or shadowing or other sort of visit days, and they've seen that we really have a very inclusive and welcoming community. So they feel that, you know, that is the experience they're going to be able to find, even though it might be a little nerve-wracking at first. Couple other things that I want to touch on this slide real quick. We are becoming an increasingly diverse campus, not only just geographically, but we have 24% students of color in this last class that are coming in. You know, we have an increasing amount of students who are first generation as well. And even though we are a Jesuit Catholic university and about 50% of our students are Catholic here, we have resources for them on campus like Mass and other faith groups. We also have over 20 different traditions on our campus, 17 different faiths just in this last year's freshman class. So it's a really exciting time to be a Musketeer. And again, that really comes out of the students that we are attracting to our campus. All right. So we already talked about All for One a little bit. We're going to kind of move on to the academic experience. So I know you all probably have some really interesting things that you're passionate about academically. You've got a lot of career aspirations. And here at Xavier, we want to give you a lot of different options. So we have over 90 different undergraduate programs. And those are in 4 different colleges here on our campus. So we have our College of Arts and Sciences, which will encompass majors like Biomedical Sciences, biology, chemistry, English, history. We're an increasingly popular health science college. We have a very strong acceptance rate into medical school. Biomedical sciences especially is really great for that particular career aspiration. 92% placement rate into medical school from our class of 2019. So that's a statistic that we're very proud of. On the other side of kind of the health coin, we also have our College of Nursing. That's going to be a direct admit program. And what that means is that you will actually know right away when you're admitted to Xavier whether you've been accepted into the nursing program. You can start your classes in the nursing program your freshman year, which is not very common sometimes in nursing programs. So that's something that's really special for our students to be able to take advantage of. We have a brand new Health United building. So if, again, nursing is your focus, brand new simulation labs, skills labs, and I would encourage you to come onto campus and be able to really see those in person because they're very, very cool. And I find myself kind of wanting to be a nurse every time I go through them. We have our College of Professional Sciences. So majors like exercise science, sports marketing, sports management, social work, education. And then finally, we have our Williams College of Business, which is definitely one of the more reputable colleges that we have here on campus. We benefit a lot from being close by to the city of Cincinnati. We have about 8 Fortune 500 companies here in town that our students will regularly do internships with, but also, you know, a good smattering of other mid and smaller size companies as well. But regardless, some great programs, some great connections with our alumni and our professors that really kind of make that one of our, again, more popular colleges. Now, if you want a little bit more challenge, you can also pursue one of our different honors programs here on campus. So we're really excited. We actually just added a new honors program this last year, and that will be in data science. So if you're interested in that, I definitely would encourage you to pursue kind of more information on our website. We're still learning about that program as it's kind of being created now. But we also have our University Scholars Program, which is for any student, really, regardless of major, you can apply into this program. And it's got some really cool perks, not only just social programming, but study abroad stipends, honor-specific housing, etc. We have our our Smith Scholars, which is going to be for the students in the Williams College of Business. Sometimes it's easy to mix those two up. And so that's going to be for our business students. You get a lot of professional opportunities for networking and a little bit more of a philosophy and ethics infusion, I believe, into their curriculum as well. Then we finally have two majors that are also honors programs. So we have our PPP program, which is Philosophy, Politics, and the Public. It's kind of a tongue twister, so I have to say it a little slower. So for our students who maybe are interested in the legal route, about 40% of those students will go into law school. We have a lot of students who are looking to go into politics or working at the kind of government or public policy level. Really cool program because we have a lot of internships that are naturally just kind of integrated into the program, campaigning and working at the local kind of state offices. So really interesting stuff there. Finally, that honors Bachelor of Arts and the classics. So if you're Greek and Latin inclined, that is definitely going to be kind of your bread and butter here at Xavier. Before I hand it over to Mike, though, to talk about success teams, regardless of what major you're in, regardless of, you know, whether you're in a major class or a core curriculum class, you're going to be in a class of about 21 students. That's about our average class size here. And that's really going to be awesome because you can build those relationships with your professors. You know, you can get to know your classmates and your majors. And ultimately, you can get a lot of that firsthand attention. So if you're doing really well in a class, you're going to be recognized. And if you're kind of struggling with a class, class, you're going to be able to get that firsthand help from your professor and your classmates as well. So I'm going to hand it over to Mike, and he's going to start to talk to you about the success team.
Thanks so much, Haley. So when I'm at college fairs and I'm talking to prospective students and parents, sometimes I get the question, if you had to choose one area where Xavier really, really shines, what would it be? And without a doubt, every time I talk about our student support services, they really are quite robust, and we've actually been recognized nationally for our support services. We really value mentorship at Xavier. We want students to know that they're on this college journey, but they're not on it alone. So we've provided a lot of support services to our students, and one of the main features of our support network is called our Student Success Team. So the Student Success Team is a team of 4 coaches that every student receives when they come to Xavier. You have these 4 coaches to walk with you throughout your college journey, and they're there to make sure that all your questions are answered, that you always know who to go to when you have a question, and that you are truly supported during this time. The first person on that team is the Student Success Coach. Now that person is really there to aid in the transition to college. We know that the transition from high school to college, it's really one of the biggest transitions a person can make in their life. And while it is a really exciting time, it's also a time where students need support. So that's where they come in. They're there to talk to students about how they're getting involved. They'll ask you questions about, what clubs are you in? Are you involved in any intramural sports? Is there anything that you're looking to get involved with? They'll ask you how your classes are going. They'll ask you about your professors and about your friends. And they're actually really proactive about working with students. They're going to be reaching out to students multiple times in your first semester, your second semester, even into your sophomore year, asking to set up meetings to sit down with you and have these conversations. So if a student, for example, is ever struggling in a class, they're in organic chemistry and they need a little bit of help, everybody struggles in OChem, it's totally fine. But you can go to your success coach and you can say, hey, where do I go for support? And they'll say, no worries at all. There's a group that is studying the exact same thing. They're in Alter 105. You can go on Thursday nights at 7 p.m. That's where there'll be a professor and other students studying the exact same thing. That's the type of support that the success coaches offer. So they're really there for our students and they aid in that transition. The next person on that team is the academic advisor. Now, the academic advisor, if you've chosen a major, is typically going to be the chair of your department, of your major, a major's department, or a tenured faculty member. If you have not chosen a major yet, then we will actually assign you an academic advisor who specializes in helping you find a major that's right for you. But the academic advisors have a really important job because they're not just there to talk to you about your field of study, but they're also there to help you stay on track to graduate in 4 years. We love our students, but we always tell them, we want you here for 4 years, and then after that, we want you doing great things with your life. So it's the academic advisors that help them stay on track. So they approve schedules every semester for students. They're going to sit down and talk with students throughout the year about what classes they need to take to graduate, where they are on that path, and what they can take this next upcoming semester when they sign up for their classes. So they're a great resource when it comes to scheduling for sure and staying on track. The next person is the career coach. So the career coach in those first couple of years when you're at Xavier as a first-year student, a second-year student, they're there to really help you find those skills that are really vital when you are looking for an internship and when you're looking for a job or looking to apply to grad school. A degree is important. That is why you come to Xavier for sure. But what we found is that there are so many things that surround the degree that make our students really successful. It's about all those other tools that you have in your tool bag that makes our students successful. So for example, the Career Center is going to teach you how to write a resume. They're going to critique your resume. They're going to talk to you about how to find internships and fellowships and research experience while you're still a student. And then the goal is to work heavily with every junior and senior to make sure that within 6 months of graduating, you are either full-time employed, you're going to grad school, or you're doing some form of service. We have a really robust ROTC program here, for example. Some students do Peace Corps, but regardless of what you plan to do, we want that plan to be in place 6 months before you graduate, within 6 months. So they're there for that. If a student for some reason needs a little bit of extra support in finding that path, that's when they say, hey, come in, we're going to set up a meeting. We're going to talk to you about the grad schools that you're really interested in, the programs that you're interested in, where you want to get that job, who do we need to talk to get you connected. That's really their job, the career coaches. And then finally, we have our financial aid counselors who are really, they're more like financial advisors for our students. You're going to direct all of your financial aid questions to them. They can talk to you about scholarships. They can talk to you about your merit scholarship. They can talk to you about need-based aid. If you're filling out the FAFSA, you know, your sophomore, junior, senior year, they're going to help you with that as well, that process. And they can even direct you towards more scholarships as well as private scholarships outside the university, even give you some ideas of where to go to apply for those. So if there's one place we really shine, it is definitely student success. Of course, besides that, we do have a math center, we have a writing center, we have tutoring at the university, and our professors, this is one of the things I really love about Xavier. Our professors are actually there and have multiple office hours throughout the week. They have typically about 10 to 15 office hours a week where students can actually drop in for that privatized support. So that is a really great way to get to know your professor, but also make sure that you're excelling in the classroom. All right, so we work really hard. Our students work really hard at Xavier, but we also like to have fun. And Cincinnati is a great place to do it, and Xavier is a really great place to do it. One of the things people ask me about Xavier, they say, you know, we know Xavier's known for your academics. You have great faculty, you have some great support services, and we know that you're well known for basketball, but what are Xavier's students like? And one of the things I admire most about our students is really just how well-rounded they are. I think one of my coworkers says it best. She says, at Xavier, it's really cool to be smart, but it's also really cool to be a smart aleck, meaning that our students, while they take their academics seriously, they don't take themselves so seriously. They like to have fun, and they really, really like to get involved. This is definitely the type of school where extracurriculars, they're just part of the package. I mean, everybody is really, really involved. You'll see here that 64% of our students, they actually hold a leadership role on campus. More than half of our students are a student ambassador, or they're leading retreats, or they're leading a club, they're the head of an organization, or they're coaching for their intramural team, they're helping out with that. There's so many ways to get involved in our over 170 clubs and student organizations. But my suggestion for any student when they come to Xavier is pick three things. Pick one thing that relates to your academics to get involved with. Pick another thing that is just something that's general interest. Maybe you played a sport in high school and you want to continue that. Pick an intramural, or maybe you want to learn something new or do something different. Maybe it's theater, right? You can do that as well here. And then lastly, pick something that's good for the soul. Do some weekly volunteering, because we love to get involved in our community. Go on a mission trip, go to a worship service, or maybe go on a retreat. And if you pick one of each of those things, you're definitely going to find your friends really fast. I think one of the biggest fears that students have when they go to college, any student, and me included when I first went to college, is how am I going to find my people, right? How am I going to find my tribe? And this is one of the best ways to do it. And I think that this school, Xavier, is really great for students who are really looking for that core community, because students do get involved and they are very much tied in to campus life. It's definitely not a school that is a ghost town on the weekends. Students are hanging out, students are getting involved. Every evening there's something going on. So if you like your extracurriculars, this is definitely the place for you. All right. I talked a little bit about campus life, but the city of Cincinnati is also a fantastic place to go to school. We try and get students out into the community as much as possible to go to concerts or to sporting events. We have tickets to the Reds, the Bengals, FC Cincinnati. We can get students involved in that way as well in the city. But many of you are in the process of applying right now to college, or you will be in the process of applying to college in the near future. So I want to go over the admission process a little bit. I think the first thing that any student should do, if you're considering a school, maybe it's not quite the first thing. Sometimes applying online is the first thing, but I think for any college that you're considering, visit campus. And I'll say it again, visit campus. It is one of the most important parts of the college admission process, and really finding the school that's just right for you. So we actually do have visits right now at Xavier. So if you'd like to go online, you can look at our visit dates. They're modified a little bit, but they're actually even more privatized than they used to be. So it's a really great chance to meet a current student and have that tour experience. We will be having events also in the future. With COVID and whatnot, those are subject to change, of course, as we all know, but we're going to try and do as many sort of come and see events, whether they're virtual or on campus, as we can in a safe way for our students. So definitely try and come for a visit if you can. So the first way to apply to Xavier is definitely on the Common App. So we are a Common App school. If you're filling out that application for other schools, feel free to just check us off on there. It's really the easiest way to apply. We do have our own application on our website, but if you are already using the Common App, go for that. That's usually the way that most students apply to the university. We need a few things. We do need, of course, your application, and any of the essay questions on the Common App will work for us. There's no supplemental on the Common App, by the way. You don't have to fill out a supplemental. And we need your official transcripts. Those can be sent from your high school. Sometimes the high school's registrar's office or your counseling office, they can get that to us. And we do also require a letter of recommendation from either a professor or a counselor that can speak to your academics. Just one is required of each student. And lastly, we are a test optional university. Now, we've actually been test optional for a little while now. This is our second year that we have been test optional. And we really decided to do that because we understand that it is one test. And while this is kind of a strange year, students may have taken the test maybe in their junior year or sophomore year. You may not get the chance to take a test this year. So we definitely understand if you want to apply test optional. If you have any questions about whether you should apply test optional, I tell students, if you think that that test really represents where you are academically and you're really proud of those scores, send them in. It's just a +1 for your application. But if you feel like they don't really represent the hard work that you've done in high school, that it's just not where you really want to be, or that it doesn't represent you, that is okay. You don't have to send them in, and it's not going to negatively affect your application. So we are test optional. But we do have some caveats to that. If you are going to apply for our competitive scholarships, we do need those test scores. So keep that in mind. And the due date to apply to our competitive scholarships is December 1st. So that's really our priority deadline. It's also our deadline to apply to honors programs as well as our nursing program, since it is a competitive program. And it's also the priority deadline to apply for the FAFSA as well. We recommend all students fill out the FAFSA. It's really a great way to get some support from the Department of Education. So even if you're not approved for any grant aid, which you could be, some need-based aid, then you're still approved for loans from the government. Those are low interest rate, fixed interest rate loans from the government, as well as work study. You could be approved for work study. So there's really nothing to lose by filling out the FAFSA. Definitely do that. And then once you are a student who's accepted to Xavier, we have an online community called Road to Xavier. And that's really how you connect with us, the counselors, as well as other students. We want to get you started in that community as early as possible. So we start connecting you. We actually created our own social network. It's pretty incredible, actually, where you can connect with students that are interested in the same things that you are, where you can start to find your roommates, where you can really just get to know what the Xavier community, who the Xavier community is, and the people who are going to be in that first year with you. And that's how you connect with your future classmates. And then we have a big date. We have May 1st. That's the date to make your commitment to Xavier. We are a rolling application school, so there's no early decision. There's no early action. We have one major date besides the December 1st priority deadline, but one major date, and that's May 1st. And you have that entire time to reach out to us. One of the best parts of my job is really getting to know students and their families. It's why I do what I do. I love what I do. And you have this entire time to really ask those questions. Feel free to give me a call, give Haley a call, any of our counselors a call, or email us. I know that this process has gotten downright scary, right? I mean, the college admission process, there's so many question marks there, and it can be really, really trying for families sometimes. So that's where we come in. We're here to make your lives as smooth as possible, and this process as smooth as possible. It's a really exciting time, and we want you to have a good experience. So again, never hesitate to reach out to us. We're always there for you. And then you move in. That's the start of your Xavier journey. This could be next August for you, less than a year away. So we're really excited to read your applications and get to know you a little bit. So again, feel free to reach out. We're excited to see you, and maybe come to campus as well. We'd love to have you on campus. Haley, do you have anything else to offer? Any other words?
No, I don't think so. That was great. Yeah, just to echo Mike, I mean, I'm one of our younger counselors. I think I went through the college application process maybe 6 or 7 years ago now, and yeah, and there's so many different emotions that you're going through as a senior, and There's so many things going on, and I didn't even apply when a global pandemic was going on. So for you, I mean, the senior class, we have so much respect for you, especially. But yeah, it's such an exciting time, and I would just say, I mean, exactly what Mike said. We're here to support you. We're here to celebrate those victories with you, and we're admissions counselors. You know, we're here to admit you. We're here to help you, in the really kind of positive connotation of that word. So yeah, if there's any way that we can assist you, whether that's kind of giving you feedback on essay topics, whether that is again kind of helping to counsel you on submitting test scores, etc. Yeah, I think that's going to be really helpful. Mike, I think the one thing that I did, I don't know that we talked about, was scholarships. And so just to kind of tack that on here at the end, because we don't want you to miss this information, it's definitely helpful to know. So, you know, we really strived at Xavier to make college education as affordable as possible for families. Certainly coming out of our, again, Jesuit tradition, we really want to kind of be there with you and to be for and with you. And as a part of that, we also want to recognize, you know, your academic and extracurricular achievements. And so with that being said, each year we actually will give merit-based scholarships to every student who's admitted to Xavier. So this year, it looks to be between $16,000 and $24,000 per academic year, and that will be renewable all 4 years as well. And usually, again, that really brings Xavier into a very affordable price range for families. And, you know, when you stack competitive scholarships, when you put in the FAFSA and, you know, the aid that you're able to get kind of from the federal and state level, like I said, that really has been helpful to families. So yeah, just know that, you know, even without applying to competitive scholarships, we're still going to be rewarding you for those achievements, and that will come to you actually in your acceptance letter as well. So if you have any questions about that, like I said, feel free to email Mike, myself, your counselor, which can be found online on our website, and we'll be happy to kind of walk you through that process too. So yeah, anything I missed, Mike, in there? Or
no, I think that's everything. Thanks so much. I think that some of you have some questions. So we're going to start a question and answer Q&A portion. Let's open those up. I'm gonna stop sharing my screen here. Give me 1 second. All right, so I have a student who asked, how can I apply for scholarships for nursing and for it to be online only? So that's a really good question. So again, Haley went over scholarships a little bit, but every student does receive a merit award, including nursing students. If you are accepted to the university, there is a secondary review for the nurses, but when you're accepted to the university, that's when you receive your merit package. And then after that, you'll see if you've been accepted to the nursing program. That typically happens in the February, early March timeframe. But you will definitely know before you get here what your merit package is and whether you're in the nursing program. I think the second part of that question was, can it be online? Currently, we do not have an option to do nursing online. Nursing is a really interesting major because there's so many components to it that are hands-on, in the sense of there are clinicals, there are rotations, you have to be in the hospital at certain times during your academic college career, right? And there's going to be simulations where you have to be in labs. So currently, we do not have an online option for nursing, but definitely for many of our programs, well, for really all of our programs right now, we have accommodations because of COVID. And I think that might be why you're asking. So we are being socially distant, and there are ways that we're getting students that experience they need in light of the COVID situation. I have somebody else who asked if we are online only. We are not online only right now. We are actually doing a combination of remote learning and in the classroom learning. It's a hybrid model that we're using right now so that we still have students at the university. They can have that full experience, but at the same time, they are socially distant. We're keeping everybody safe and healthy. We've consulted with our partners, TriHealth, on that. TriHealth is the umbrella network of hospitals and research centers here in the tri-state area, and they are one of our partners. We really partner with them, and they've actually helped us come up with that. So we don't have any fully online programs for undergrad students, but we are doing hybrid right now. And of course, in the future, that's subject to change. We'll see where we are in a year, but I anticipate that it will still be as much in-person attention as possible. And then I have another question. I'm a CCP student, and I wanted to know if there is a major or degree in digital marketing or video production. Haley, do you want to answer that one?
Sure, yeah, and feel free to jump in at the end, Mike, if I missed anything. I know each of us, part of the fun of our jobs is we get to learn all about these different majors, but sometimes we get anecdotes from professors we talk to and stuff, so definitely he can jump in at the end if there's anything else that I missed. But so we do have certainly marketing here on our campus. It's a very popular major. The marketing department is absolutely wonderful. And I know that actually one of our professors, and I can definitely send the name of this person out, actually specializes in social media and the digital marketing aspect of things. So there's certainly an opportunity if you're interested in that side of kind of connecting with customers. There's certainly an opportunity for you to develop that skill set and to be able to learn from someone who is in the field actually doing that at the professional level too. The other one was video production. So we do actually have a major called Digital Innovation, Film and Technology. We refer to it as DIFT sometimes. So if you call your counselor and say, hey, I want to be a DIFT major, you will actually, we will know what you're talking about, which sounds kind of weird, but Digital Innovation, Film and Technology. We have our own television studio here on campus. So if you live in Brockman Hall your freshman year, you'll actually be in the residence hall that is attached to. And they will produce different projects every single week. So you get a lot of firsthand attention working in all the different aspects of production. So you're going to be taking classes in editing. You're going to be taking classes in kind of film and how to actually like produce and be a director. You are going to be taking classes regarding being in front of the camera. So if you're looking to go into kind of broadcasting or going into journalism in that kind of way, there is that opportunity for you too. So what's really cool about that is that not only will you be doing these weekly projects, but as you get further into your college career, you're going to be able to collaborate with your classmates on projects together. So correct me if I'm wrong, Mike, this is kind of what I've heard before, is that your junior year, you'll actually be working on a video project. It's a huge kind of senior capstone level type of project. So putting that together, and whether that is, working on a documentary or doing some sort of writing a script and kind of putting together some sort of short film, this is going to be kind of your baby and your project for the second half of your college career. Your junior year, you're working on kind of putting that all together and organizing. And then your senior year is when you actually get to kind of produce everything. You get to actually film it, and like I said, your classmates, you'll each be working on your own project, but you'll be collaborating with each other. So you might be kind of the video guy on the one person's project, and you might be kind of the sound editing person on the other one. So like I said, I hope that this makes sense, but each person in that major is really going to get a lot of different experiences in all the different aspects of broadcasting, of digital media production, video production. And we're actually in a top 30 media market here in Cincinnati too. So that's really great because we have internship opportunities right here down the street, drive 10 minutes downtown into the city. But we also have faculty members who have experience in the field. They've been out in Hollywood, they've been out in LA, some of them have been in New York. So they have these connections as well. Mike, did I miss anything that you want to kind of point out that you've maybe heard of before?
No, I think you definitely covered it all. There was a question about CCP as well, College Credit Plus. So students in the state of Ohio, many of you actually probably have taken some classes. Some of them might be online, or you maybe took them at the university or community college to get college credits. So we do accept those classes. If we have the equivalent class at Xavier, then it'll count for that, pretty standard there. If we don't have the equivalent class, then we will count it as a college credit class. So you took the class, you took an accredited university or college, then you will receive the credit hours for it. But to kind of help you understand what's going to transfer for what, really it's if we have the equivalent class at Xavier, it'll transfer for that. We have a transfer equivalency website on our website. You can just search transfer credits on our website to get to that page, and you'll be able to see which classes students have transferred from other universities to Xavier and actually what they transfer for. Caveat to that, if it's not on that website, it doesn't mean that we don't accept it. It just means that another student hasn't tried to transfer it in the past. But many of those classes, especially intro core classes, many of those do transfer to Xavier. It's not something that we will transfer before you get here. It's actually, we do that process that we apply it to your academic record in the summer before you start classes. So we can give you a rough idea, but the actual evaluation of your college transcripts of the classes that you took while you were in school, in high school, that'll happen right before you get here to the university. And if you have a question, you can actually ask your counselor, your personal counselor in our office. There's one assigned to every student actually in the United States, but definitely your area. If you have a question of who your counselor is, if you don't know, or if you haven't met your counselor, you can go to xavier.edu/admissions and then click on find your counselor. And it's pretty easy from there. You would just find the area of the country that you're from, or area from Ohio that you're from, and find out how to contact them. Yeah.
So we have another question about sports broadcasting specifically. So maybe this is going to be the hot topic tonight, is broadcasting. So yeah, I would recommend going into digital innovation, film and technology. And we are more than happy, if we're not your counselor, we're more than happy to connect you with your counselor, and they can connect you to a professor in that specific major, because they might also have some good feedback for you as far as what students have done before with that interest. But just right now, off the top of my head, I can think of the fact that, again, that's going to give you all the real technical training behind broadcasting, and a lot of the kind of sports aspect is going to be something that you can benefit from, because we're a Division I school, we're in the Big East Conference, we're an athletic powerhouse. So we have sports broadcasters up in Cintas Center all the time, obviously covering every game. So definitely internship field opportunities to work with them and to kind of pick their brain, shadow them maybe when they're on the job, get insights from them. But we also have the Cincinnati Reds in town. We have the Cincinnati Bengals. We have FC Cincinnati. And I know that from talking to sports management, sports marketing departments and the students in there, we have such strong ties with those professional organizations too, and send so many of our students over there to do internships in those other areas, that who's to say that we wouldn't be able to get you connected with someone who's in the broadcasting side of that organization. We've had students who've gone on and worked for the Washington football team right now. I know they're still kind of figuring out their name. We've had students go on to work for the Cleveland Cavaliers, other kind of professional sports teams, the Columbus Blue Jackets or the Nashville Predators, if you're a hockey fan. So I can imagine that pulling on that alumni network, where we have, again, former students and alumni who are already in those organizations, they might have some pull, they might have some ability to connect you, depending upon, again, whether you're looking to do sports, collegiate sports, that is, or professional sports. But yeah, because of our connections, I have a lot of confidence that there's definitely a way into sports broadcasting, whichever pathway you want to go.
And one of the great things about our curriculum is that with many of our majors, you can actually double major and still get in and out in 4 years. And exactly. I definitely know students who've gone into Xavier wanting to do sports broadcasting. So they do digital innovation in film and television, and then they do sports marketing or sports management. They double up with that. Definitely two that can definitely be very related, especially if you do the marketing side, the sports marketing. And we have had students go on to work for ESPN. So right there, you can definitely do some sports broadcasting here. Any final questions? All right, I don't see any others coming in. Well, that is it from our side. Do we have anything from Ashley?
Yes. Here we are. I think I'm sharing my screen again. There we are. All right. So folks, thanks so much for joining us. I hope you've learned so much about Xavier University. They're a fantastic school, and I can personally vouch for the amazing results that they have on campus. Even though I'm a UD alum, I can still say Xavier's a great school. So thank you so much for joining us. There is a quick survey that you're going to see that will pop up on your screen. It's just a 4-question survey, so please take that if you have time. Also, again, don't forget to sign up for more sessions. I'm sure that you have found this to be very helpful, and there are a lot of other universities that are going to be presenting here in the next few weeks. And then also, if you know someone who is very interested in Xavier and happen to miss this, please encourage them to check out the recordings, which will be available after tonight's session. Thank you so much, everyone.